श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद श्रीलाभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री प्रभुपाद ट्रांसजेंडरल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्रोग्राम की युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Take two. So clearly, I'm not Sitaram Prabhu. Unfortunately, Sitaram Prabhu got ill 1 hour before the class. So welcome to unplanned class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Saityam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Dinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namah Madhuryojjvala Premadhyay Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambhode Padambujayate Namah Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Svam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namah Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratmishri Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakt Avatar Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jayatam Surato Bangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasya Padam Bhojau Radha Madan Mohanam Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishnali Visevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshi Vatatastitau Harshan Venu Swaner Gopi Gopinata Shriyestuna Aptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I thought we'll continue from where we left off in the Bhagavatam. Before that, I just wanted to know if you have any retention from last Saturday's class that Sitaram Prabhu gave. Any points that you remember? Any points that made an impact in your mind that you can share? How many of you were there last Saturday for class? Acha, okay. Others may have attended on Zoom. Anything you remember? Because yes, Mataji. Don't expect good things in the material world. It will be a cause for your suffering. Krishna defines this material world as Dukkhalaya Shashvatam. He says in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yoyana evate. Anything that can be perceived through the senses is a cause of misery. Dukkha yoyana evate. It's going to just lead to misery. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes. Women's beauty is in her tolerance, not in her angry words. So tolerance is a virtue. Tolerance is one. Actually, everyone is tolerating in the material world. Everybody is tolerating. It's just that people are tolerating for some material benefit. Traveling in Mumbai doesn't require tolerance. Simple thing. Traveling in Mumbai requires so much tolerance. Now in our this JVPD, when you go ahead from JVPD and you take the U-turn near that cream center. So around 1 month back, I don't know what they did. I think they planted some things. So the dirt is there. And it's been 1 month and they have not cared to remove the dirt. So whenever you pass by there, you have to just deep inhalation and just hold it for how much ever time the traffic lasts. Otherwise, you'll be inhaling all this dust. This is just one small example. So much to tolerate. But we do it. We do it without complaining. Sometimes we complain, kya ye traffic, kya ye garmi, kya. But we do it. Why? Because we have some interest in that. We have some invested in this material world. But we have to do it even in our spiritual life. We have to tolerate things in our spiritual life also. And we have to tolerate reverses in our material life also. Thank you, Arpita. Yes. Yes. Would stop shaking that because then this will shake. Yes. A good person will never be evil to evil. This actually ties up well even with this chapter where Dharma, if you remember, I think it was 1 month back, maybe even longer, the last Bhagavatam class that we had, because after that there was some festival, Gaur Katha was there. Then I think 1 week we were not here, and then there was Vrindavan Yatra, and then there was Gaur Katha, And then there was the Gurukul visit. And then there was Prabhuji's class. I remember. So yeah. So if you remember in that, we were discussing who is to blame. And Dharma doesn't blame Kali. Doesn't blame Kali. So people who are good don't blame. Very nice. Yes, Nupur? Same topic? Okay. Anything else? Yes, Mataji? Yeah. Association of lower grade people. Now, if we analyze, we have association of lower grade people in our life. Lower grade people doesn't mean maids or drivers or watchmen. Lower grade people can be people who are very rich also. Because lower grade of consciousness. And not lower grade of wealth. Lower grade of consciousness. Can there be people who are very refined and doing very well in life and they have lower consciousness? So much. So we have to asat sang tyag ei Vaishnav achar. One of the characteristics of a Vaishnav is that asat sang tyag. Now, whether that asat sang is my brother or my best friend or a close colleague, asat sang tyag. If you have interest in your spiritual life and if you want to make use of this rare jewel, which is this association of devotees that we have, then we have to give up bad association. Sadhu Sange, Sadhu Sange, Krishna Kripa, Bhaktira Swabhav. Association of devotees, mercy of Krishna, and Bhaktira Swabhav, the nature of devotional service. Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhaktira Swabhav. 18, these three qualities, Chhadiya, can remove all material miseries of life and give Krishna Bhava Prem, can give us love of Godhead. Just these three things. Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees, Krishna Kripa, the mercy of the Lord, and Bhaktira Swabhav, the characteristics of devotional service. What are the characteristics of devotional service? Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned, Sarvopadi Vinir Muktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. When the senses are used in service of Rishikesh, that's called devotional service. Two things happen. Sarvopadi Vinir Muktam. We are freed from the bodily identification of life. Me and mine. I'm the body and these things are mine. And Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. The senses get purified. So this is Bhaktira Swabhav. From Bhakti, these things happen. And then Sadhu Sangha and Krishna Kripa. We have all these three in our lives, don't we? We all have all these three in our lives. We have the mercy of the Lord. Every one of us has the mercy of the Lord. That's why we are here. We have Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. And we are practicing devotional service. All of us are chanting. All of us are reading Prabhupada's books. All of us are doing some or the other services. So by doing these three things, automatically material desires will go away and love of Godhead will get developed. Now you compare all of this to having to do the austerity of giving up bad association. भले हो best friend हो. I had to give up association of so many chuddy buddies, best friends. We did everything together. We learned cycling together. We learned swimming together. We failed in maths together. We passed 10 standard together. We, revealed our girlfriends to each other together. We drank together. We did all nonsense together. We graduated together. And then, Hare Krishna. What to do? You can pray for such people, but there's no need to preach to them or associate with them just because they are old friends or good colleagues or even some relatives. So thank you. Anything else? Yes. Yeah, you can understand it was Sitaram Prabhu's class. So when a lady is in anger, don't take her words seriously. Just hear her out. Yeah. The trick is to hear without giving advice. And just hear and say, oh, really? Yeah, actually, you're right. And then after some time, once it's all cooled down, then she will come to you. Then there can be some actual conversation. Till then, you have to just hear and accept. Yes, yes. If at that time we try and give some correction, then again it becomes my experience. My experience from many, many years of uh, having dealings with women, Matajis, not just from my wife. Otherwise, they'll call and say, "Yeah, paise karte ho." Anything else? Yes. Yeah, that's a very important point. It's not necessary to justify or answer people. We can ignore them. We can ignore them. All these things are beneficial for our spiritual life. They are not, all these principles don't lead to love of God, but they all assist in us furthering our Krishna consciousness. We should wear our Krishna consciousness on our sleeves. It means दिखाना चाहिए लोगों को कि हम भक्त हैं. It does not mean show off करना चाहिए. But when you chant in public, chant with your bead bag and chant so that people can see that you are chanting. If you are wearing kanthi mala, don't wear a 3-round kanthi mala loose as 2 rounds so that no one can see your kanthi mala. Wear it properly. Kanthi matlab it should be on the kant. It should be around your throat. It should not be on your chest. It should be here. When you're coming to the temple, wear tilak and wear your traditional dress and come. No need to just, who cares what people think? Who cares? No one cares. So many people have given so many opinions and written so many books and they are dead and nobody even asks about them. So we should be bold. And we should ignore people's opinions. Unless they are, but also sometimes that helps in us becoming better devotees. When people keep questioning us and all, we should introspect and think, yeah, maybe there is some truth in that and I should become a better devotee. So in this, thank you. So many of you remember so many things. That's very nice. One exercise which everyone can do, which I have started doing whenever I hear classes, is try and retain whatever you can after the class. Make some notes, make some points, 2, 3, 4, and not, you don't necessarily have to write it down during the class. You can do that also. You can have a pen and a paper and write down during the class, but after the class, maybe before prasad, when that whole wave of noise starts, the poor girls are reading Krishna book and Krishna would be thinking, इतना आवाज तो जब demons आते थे तभी भी नहीं आता था, जितना ये लोग 1 घंटा सुनने के बाद 1 घंटा बोलना है सबको. But just before that activity of non-stop speaking, you can note down some things. Those things always they retain with us, and then we can keep referring to those points. Like when I went for His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj's Samadhi ceremony to Vrindavan, after every couple of hours, I was writing something because there were so many realizations and so much nectar over there that it helped, and can refer to it regularly even now. Can do that. So in this chapter, after Maharaj Parikshit sees this scene of this Kali dressed as a king, slaughtering the bull, chopping down 3 legs of the bull, Parikshit comes with a sword and he's ready to kill who? Kali. He's ready to kill Kali. Ready to kill Kali. And the duty of Kali is to cause quarrel. Kaler dosha nide rajan. Kali Yuga is full of faults, full of quarrels, hypocrisy, faults. So, as someone said, don't expect anything good in the material world. If we expect something good, and if I expect, all of you can maybe come little this side. There's no space there, so some of you can just come. Nothing will happen. We only trouble kids. If I go out right now, or if any of us go out right now, and we expect when we leave Hare Krishna land at 8:30 p.m., we'll see the sun shining. That's not going to happen, right? So that's our foolishness. And then what happens when we expect a lot? Disappointment. We feel disappointed. So in Kali Yuga, there's no need to expect, because it's an ocean of faults. So there's the story. Kali had 3 disciples. I think I mentioned this. He told them, जाओ कुछ बड़ा करके आओ, मेरा नाम रोशन करके आओ, do something great. So the first one went, caused some, divorce and, complete breakdown of a whole dynasty. So Kali said, okay, fine. Just caused misunderstanding between few people and a whole dynasty collapsed. Kali said, okay, fine. He went and reported, मैंने ये किया. Okay, fine. The second one went, caused a war, major war. Like now, the geopolitical situation in the world is very dicey. And it's just few people misdirected can cause a war. That's how every war has started. Just few people have a quarrel. So big war happened. Many people died. Many cities were destroyed. He came back and he showed Kali, मैंने ये किया. He said, okay, fine. Third fellow came back. तूने क्या किया? He said, I caused a sadhu to give up his spiritual principles and break his regulative principles. And Kali said, you did the best. Why? He said, अभी लोगों का धर्म में विश्वास उठ जाएगा. And if they lose faith in religion, if they lose faith in spirituality, automatically they will take shelter of the 5 things in which I am allowed. What are the 5 places where Kali is allowed? Meat eating, intoxicants, gambling. Gambling includes this online cricket, sports, whatever it's called, Dream 11. I think it's gambling, illicit sex, and gold. Tanishq. Our Vamshini Mataji stays in that lane, Turner Road. Both sides, it's filled with gold shops. And we used to cross that to go and give our Gita class. So these 5 places. Abhi aap socho, just think. All of you, just think. Anyone who is not spiritual, where do they seek their entertainment in? These things. Automatically they will gravitate towards these things. So Kali told his disciple, you did the best. So to this Kali, Maharaj Parikshit is about to kill him. And before he does that, Maharaj Parikshit asks he asks Dharma, who did this to you? And what did he reply? Does anyone remember? Ultimately, it's the will of the Lord. He said, some people think that the modes of nature have caused this. Some people think it is because of the living entity's karma. When bad things happen, how do we preach to ourselves? Mera karma hai. Hai na? Right? Now, assuming you come to a platform where you know that jo samne wale ne kiya, he's the direct cause. He's not the ultimate cause. Right? So then you understand, like, I have had a cough, very bad cough for last 15 days. I've gone to a doctor, I've gone to an ENT, I've taken antibiotics for 10 days, but nothing seems to work. So after doing all this, if it's still happening, what do you say ultimately? What do you conclude? Okay, some suffering is there in karma, it has to come, it will come. Some people can say it is karma. Some people will say it's because of someone else, they are low category. Some people will say it's karma. Some people will say it's because of my desires, the living entity's desires. But here he's saying, no, it's none of that. it's ultimately because of the will of the Lord. If Krishna has desired, so it has happened. And if Krishna has sanctioned it, who am I to complain? How can I complain if Krishna has sanctioned it? And I know that Krishna is my well wisher. We all know Krishna is our well wisher. How can we prove it? There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. How else can we prove it? That's the verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Pramod Gopinath Prabhu.
Because Krishna in the form of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Paramatma, he is coming in every body with us. We don't realize it, but he is always conscious of what we are doing. He is always trying to direct us towards him, which is ultimate happiness.
Very good. Lord Krishna as Paramatma, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, travels with us. In our previous body, whichever body it was, everything else was different. What was the constant? Krishna came. Krishna came. Sometimes when people have lows in their life, automatically some friends disappear. But whatever low, even if we were a dog or a donkey in our previous life or worm in stool, Krishna came with us. How else can someone prove that they really care for us? How will you understand when someone cares for you? When they are with you in difficult times. So Krishna is there. Yes, Prabhu.
He gives us facility to fulfill our material desires.
And Krishna is so kind that he gives us facilities also to fulfill our material desires. One way to do that is he gives us forgetfulness of our previous lives. भूल जाओ क्या हुआ था, कैसे मरे थे, कौन दुश्मन थे, भूल जाओ. Ignorance is bliss. Be ignorant. Any other ways Krishna is our real well-wisher? Yes, Shantivardhan bro. The stalwarts are answering today. Krishna is sending devotees in our life. Yeah. How many of us here? Maybe there are, but percentage will be less. Really searched after Bhagavad Gita, read it completely, understood everything, and then came here. There was always the hand of some devotee or the push of some devotee in our life. That's Krishna's mercy. Right? So, if that well-wisher who has never left us for 1 second, when we grow up, our parents also leave us. Ultimately, our parents also die. Right? But this person has never left us. Not for 1 second has he left us. Even in the womb of our mother, he was there. In the previous life of cat, dog, whatever, he was there. Now in this life, he's there. He'll continue to be there. If that Krishna sanctions something difficult in our life, should we really complain about it? No. So a pure devotee thinks like this, that, okay, is Krishna sanctioned? So no problem. Who the hell am I to complain? Right? So when Parikshit Maharaj heard this from Dharma, the bull, he understood ye koi sadharan bull nahi hai. This is not some ordinary personality. This is some special personality. And therefore Maharaj Parikshit spoke. Rajovacha dharmam bravisi dharmagya dharmam bravisi dharmagya dharmosi vrisharupadrik dharmosi vrisharupadrik yad adharma krita sthanam yad adharma krita sthanam suchakasyapi tad bhavet suchakasyapi tad bhavet. Anyone would like to repeat?
Rajovacha
Yada dharma krita sthanam suchakasyapi tad bhavet. Translation? Someone can read?
The king said, "O you who are in the form of the bull, you know the truth of religion, and you are speaking according to the principle
Who is Dharma? Personality of religion. He's taken the form of a bull. He's not a bull. He is the personality of religion. Dharma. He came in the form of Vidur. So now in the form of a bull. So he's saying that anyone who does a wrong activity or even identifies that this person has done a wrong activity is actually wrong. When Parikshit Maharaj is saying, when I heard this, I understood you are none other than the personality of religion. That means that it is dharma. It is considered dharmic to think that whatever has come is ultimately the sanction of the Lord. It is meant for my purification. And I'm not supposed to hold a grudge against the immediate cause of that. I can keep away from that immediate cause. I can be careful of that immediate cause. Asat sang tyag, all that is fine. But holding a grudge, thinking iske wajah se mere life mein problem hai, that is adharmic. Because the principle of religion is, if Krishna has sanctioned, who cares? If Krishna has sanctioned, I have to accept it because Krishna is my best friend. Krishna is my eternal well-wisher. So Srila Prabhupada writes an amazing purport to this verse, and we will go through the entire purport. Prabhupada says, a devotee's conclusion, this is how the purport starts. Please pay attention. A devotee's conclusion is that no one is directly responsible for being a benefactor or mischief monger without the sanction of the Lord. Therefore, he does not consider anyone to be directly responsible for such action. But in both cases, he takes it for granted. Please hear. But in both cases, he takes it for granted that either benefit or loss is God sent. And thus, it is his grace, God's grace. In the case of benefit, no one will deny that it is God sent. But in case of loss or reverses, one becomes doubtful about how the Lord could be so unkind to his devotee as to put him in great difficulty. So Prabhupada is making a point here. First point he's making is that a pure devotee's conclusion is that if things are happening by the sanction of the Lord, it is Krishna's grace in my life. It's like prasad. You know, on festival days, the pujari throws us one special fruit or special flower, or we get in Darshan Aarti we get tulsi in our Charnamrit. We feel happy. I'm Lord's mercy. So here Prabhupada is saying, good things happen or bad things happen. Both ways, this person is thinking, a pure devotee is thinking that it's Krishna's grace in my life. Then Prabhupada poses a question. He says that, okay, acha hua, to no problem. You can understand. Of course, nowadays, to people, acha hua, to what do people think? Ishwaroham, aham bhogi. I am the Lord, I am the enjoyer. I did it, I got it, I will enjoy. But in earlier times, people were wise enough to think, if good has come, it's God's grace. Now also there are people like that. I was asking, when difficulties happen in a devotee's life, but difficulty doesn't mean like what my chest infection I'm talking about. Like serious difficulties in life. Derailing, life-altering changes in life. Like our Kadam Karan Maharaj, he was saying that when he got shot, he was the president, temple president now. Maybe next week we will have one session on Zoom about that, Maharaj's life. But he said, I was the president of Vrindavan and I got shot. And for 6 months, I couldn't move. And after that, it was too dangerous for me to stay in Vrindavan. So that one shot, he said, that one bullet completely derailed my life, altered my life. So in such cases, how to see the Lord's hand? Prabhupada is asking. So in the 10th canto, towards the end, the third last chapter, 88th chapter of the 10th canto, there is one very famous verse which Srila Prabhupada often quotes. And Prabhupada said when there were reverses in his own life, he would remember this verse. 10th canto, we can recite. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Yasyaham anugrenami harishye taddanam shanai tato dhanam tyajat tasya swajana dukkha dukkhitam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, if I especially, now, if you are new, if you want, you can just go out for 5 minutes. Others can digest. If I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. To whom? If I especially favor someone. आज से माला कम कर लेते हैं. एकादशी अभी तोड़ देता हूं. कल मूवी देखेंगे, कुछ करेंगे, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं तो भगवान फेवर कर लेंगे, ज्यादा जपा अच्छे से हुआ. सुबह उठ के जप करने बोलते हैं. If Krishna specially favors someone, Krishna causes difficulties and miseries in that person's life. Not just once. He suffers one distress after another. एक के बाद एक. If it's not happening, we should think. What should we think? It's not that I am even more special. कि भगवान बोला इसको तो जरूरत ही नहीं है यार, ये तो अपना ही है. We are not serious enough. If a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada can have reverses after reverses in his life, we all know how many difficulties Prabhupada faced. You know, that is like the biggest source of inspiration for devotees in ISKCON. Prabhupada's life. But the question can be posed, why? Why? So in one purport, a very nice answer is there. In fact, in this purport only. You can read. This purport is a very nice answer. Said, it is at night that the sunrise becomes attractive. What does that mean? It is at night that sunrise becomes attractive. Sunrise hota nahi hai raat ko. So, the thought, now it's so dark. Oh, when the sun rises, it looks so beautiful. Right? So it is at night that sunrise becomes attractive. During the hot summer, that cold water gives comfort. Yes? And during the cold winter months, that warm water is pleasing. Yes? Lamplight appears attractive in darkness, not in the glaring light of the day. And when one is distressed by hunger, food tastes specially good. Next week, we'll plan a very bland menu. You please don't eat lunch and come. You will like it. In other words, to strengthen his devotees' mood of dependence on him and longing for him, the Lord arranges for his devotees to go through some suffering. And when he appears in order to deliver them, their gratitude and transcendental pleasure are boundless. When there are reverses in our life, when there are difficulties in our life, and we continue in Krishna consciousness, we can see Krishna's hand in our life. And then we feel very joyful. We feel that we've become stronger. That yes, Krishna is merciful to me. Because even in this pathetic situation, I'm able to go on. I'm able to practice Krishna consciousness. And in those difficult situations, actually our dependence on Krishna increases. We have all experienced many difficulties in our lives. And there are two options. Either we give up our Krishna consciousness or we take full shelter of our Krishna consciousness, because Krishna has shown us the naked truth of the material world, that koi hamara kuch benefit nahi kar sakta ultimately. And at that time, a devotee takes shelter of Krishna more. And then Krishna seems more attractive. Just like sunrise seems attractive at night. That is why Krishna does these things. To see how precious is this devotee. How precious is this devotee. And to give more taste to the devotee. So therefore Krishna causes difficulties to come. And those difficulties are actually things which could have become obstacles or could have taken a devotee away. When Vibhishan, the good part of festivals is that it gives us an excuse to think of those leelas of the Lord. Ram Navami, last 10 days, 2 weeks, if you are hearing lectures and all, it's about Lord Ram. So when Vibhishan came, he gave up Raman, and he was coming. And Lord Ram, the monkeys, they're all seeing Vibhishan is coming. At that time, Vibhishan sent a message that I want to surrender to Lord Ram. I have given up Ravan, I want to surrender to Lord Ram. Lord Ram asked the monkeys, क्या करना चाहिए? All the monkeys are very skeptical. We cannot trust him. रावण का भाई है, ऐसे ही आया होगा, हमारे से secrets लेके चले जाएगा वापस. He'll go and he'll again cause difficulty. Don't trust him. Lord Ram asked Hanuman, what should we do? You can just spotlight the video. I think it's otherwise whoever is there uska aa jata. Hanuman said, Lord, you have to give him a chance. आपने बड़े बड़े डायलॉग मार दिए. Now you have to give him a chance. कौन्तेया प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्ता प्रणश्यति. I declare you, Arjun, declare it boldly, my devotee will never perish. तो अभी आया है आपके पास. I have to give him a chance. So Lord Ram said yes. And then he spoke a verse. Sakre deva prapanno yas tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadam etam vritam mama. Lord Ram said, anyone who takes shelter of me even once and says, O Lord, from this day onwards, I am yours. What? From this day onwards? We can all say, O Lord, from this day onwards, I am yours. Some people said it with a lot of emotion. Some people just wrote, repeated. If you said it with emotion, you get the benefit of it. So Lord Ram says to such a person, Abhayam Sarvada Tasmai, I award them courage by which they can go through all difficulties in life and I will protect them. Dadam etad vritam mama. I protect them. I give them courage. Abhayam Sarvada Tasmai. So Krishna gives difficulties in the life of a devotee to strengthen the devotee so that the devotee can see Krishna's hand. When everything is going well, let us be honest with ourselves. At least it works with me. When everything is going well, we are tad bit less Krishna conscious. चल रहा है सब कुछ. सुबह उठ रहे हैं, जप हो रहा है, दिन में नॉर्मल चीजें हो रही है, सब कुछ ठीक है, संग मिल रहा है, सब कुछ ठीक है. When difficulties come, the dependence on Krishna increases. So that is why these things are there. That is why difficulties come in the life of a devotee. There's one devotee in Lord Ram's Leela. He was born as a boatman. Now that is considered low birth. Born in a family of a boatman, he became a boatman. But that didn't stop him from becoming a devotee of Lord Ram. So he had firm devotion to Lord Ram. Although he had to every day row his boat so much to earn a living. And there were these big people having no dearth of wealth and they were not conscious of Lord Ram. So once when Lord Ram wanted to cross from one bank of the Ganga to the other, his boatman came and Ghuya called the boatman and Ghuya told the boatman, Bhagwan ko yahan se wahan leke jana hai, Ganga ke us par. And you have to be quick because we have rumors that Bharat is coming with his army. And we think that Bharat is going to attack Lord Ram. So be quick. Boatman says, see, first I will wash Lord's feet. So this fellow thought, Ghuya thought, not this fellow, Ghuya thought that ठीक है डिवोशन है बहुत अच्छी बात है बाद में करो पहले लेके जाओ उधर. He said no problem, you wash his feet but do it on the boat while the boat is going. यहाँ से निकालो पहले भगवान को. Now who can harm the Lord? But the devotees have that bhav by the mercy of the Lord. So this fellow said no, I want to wash his feet. So Ghuya got irritated. He said Who's stopping you? But don't do it now. Do it later. Us par pahunch ke karna. He said no. By then Lord Ram came. He's hearing this conversation. So this person said, "Dekho, I am very poor. I have this boat only as my means of livelihood. Only when I row the boat do I earn money and I can feed my family." So Bhuya said, "What's the problem?" He said, "But I have heard that your Lord," everyone knows, he once just touched stone and the stone became a woman. Now there are many pieces of wood in my boat. To support one wife, I have to row so much. If every piece of wood becomes a woman and the boat itself is not there, mera kya hoga? So I want to ensure there's no dust of Lord's lotus feet on the boat. So मेरे को धोना पड़ेगा. So when Lord Ram heard, he became very happy. He saw that, see, by whatever reason, this fellow has taken a birth in a low family. Could have said, भगवान में मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों किया? मेरे अंदर इतना भक्ति है, फिर भी भगवान ने ऐसे किया. But you see, in that situation also, he is doing bhakti, and you see how Lord is reciprocating with him. Lord Ram allowed him, jitna abhishek karna hai karo. After that, what did he do? Obviously, with the water, he drank it, he sprinkled it on himself, and what else we do? Distributed it to everyone. The more you distribute Krishna conscious mercy with others, the more it grows. That's a fact. The more you distribute Krishna conscious mercy with others, the more it grows. So then Lord Ram also thought, my devotees are very intelligent. Very nice way this fellow got me to do, allow him to do Abhishek. Rowed the boat on the other side. Lord Ram signaled to Mother Sita, and Sita Devi removed her ring and gave it to Lord Ram. And Lord Ram gave it to this boatman. Boatman said, "Why are you giving me this ring?" He said, "As repayment. In my hour of need, you helped me cross the Ganga on the other side. I was in need, you helped me. I have nothing else to give you. I cannot give you anything else. So you please accept this." Ring of Sita Devi would be so valuable. He said, no. Two people of the same profession don't accept payment. Same profession है, मैं तो राजा हूँ, पता है अभी मेरे को बनवास दे दिया, पर इतना गिर नहीं गया हूँ मैं. हो जाएगा, थोड़े 12 साल बाद हो जाएगा वापस. I'll be the king. How are you comparing me with yourself? He said, I'm the king, you're a boatman, we are not the same. No, Lord, we are the same profession. See, दो barber एक दूसरे का बाल काटते, they don't charge each other. Two tailors, they stitch each other's clothes, they don't charge each other. Lord Ram said, but I'm not a boatman. He said, yes, you are a boatman. Lord Ram said, chalo, you have already shown your intelligence once, you please show it again. How am I a boatman? He said, see, Lord, I ferry people from this bank to the other bank. You ferry people from the material world, cross the ocean of material world, and send them to Vaikuntha. So we both are boatmen. Lord Ram gave up. Lord Ram garlanded him, embraced him tightly, and said, I promise you, you just continue like this, and I promise you, I will personally take you to Golok. So difficulties come, but then we know who is giving us the difficulty. And that person is our eternal well-wisher, will never leave us, has never left us. We all seem very confident, but I'm sure, at least for myself, maybe for some of you also, we would have taken some animal births also in previous lives. Kutta, billi, earthworm, horrible creatures, cockroach. हुए होंगे हम. वो टाइम भी कृष्णा थे. परमात्मा was in our heart. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshi arjuna tishtati. Sarvabhutanam, every living entity. So when that Krishna gives us difficulty, how the hell does it matter? That should be the mood of a devotee. And when difficult times come, we should take shelter of Krishna consciousness. We should take shelter of these 9 processes of devotional service. I have noted in the lives of many of these great devotees, like Kadam Karan Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj, many people, they all have developed attachment, strong attachment, nishtha, strong attachment to at least one of the 9 processes of devotional service. Strong attachment. And then, that takes them forward. So we have to develop strong attachment for Shravanam or Kirtanam, Smaranam, serving, worshipping, offering prayers, something or the other. We have to develop strong attachment. Easiest is to develop attachment for Shravanam and Kirtanam. We should be praying like that. Lord, remove my attachment for all this nonsense of the material world. Politics में क्या हो रहा है, sports में क्या हो रहा है, कौन सा movie है, or just mundane talks, and give me some attachment for hearing and chanting about you. And then whenever difficulties come, take shelter of that. What was that? Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhakti Ras Swabhav. Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhakti Ras Swabhav. Any questions? Yes, Mataji.
About Vibhishan, when you said Lord Rama asked first the monkeys and then Hanumanji whether he should accept Vibhishan or not. So I'm just trying to understand where is the Lord? Is this the Leela that he's trying to?
Yeah, he just wants to glorify Hanumanji, that yeah, Hanuman knows my mood. Any other questions? Yes, Mataji. Because give that up in the sense that we should not long for it. We should not, it's auspicious to wear gold, but longing for more and more and more, and it becomes like it's called a abhushan, no? It becomes a decoration of the body, and then there is more and more identification with the body. So that's why, and it's very attractive. It is Hiranyakashipu. His name means gold and a soft bed. So this wanting to decorate the body with these things leads to all other forms of sense gratification. So Prabhupada continues the purport, and it's just a couple of paragraphs and then we are done. Jesus Christ was seemingly put into such great difficulty, being crucified by the ignorant, but he was never angry at the mischief mongers. Please pay attention. That is the way of accepting a thing, either favorable or unfavorable. By God's grace, the devotee tolerates all reverses. In other words, a devotee has no suffering at all because, I'll repeat, in other words, a devotee has no suffering at all because so-called suffering is also God's grace for a devotee who sees God in everything. People say Bhagwan sab. That's what you get for naming your kid. People say भगवान सब जगह है, तो भगवान का हाथ भी सब जगह है, तो जब डिफिकल्ट चीज आ रहा है उसमें भी भगवान का हाथ है. So therefore a devotee has no suffering because a devotee does not consider that as suffering because he considers that as Krishna's grace upon my life. The one thing that we have to avoid in all of this, Krishna is merciful to everybody except for one who's an offender of devotees. This is the only thing we have to avoid. Offenses, Vaishnava Prad, that Krishna cannot tolerate. Then Krishna just gives up that person. He's still there in the heart, but he's not reciprocating to that level. Krishna hates such a person. Only thing we have to avoid, Vaishnava Prad. All other attachments that we have, all other things that are holding us back, if we take shelter of Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa and Bhakti Ras Swabhav, those things will go away. But not Vaishnava Prad. So we have to be very careful of this one thing. And then there is no difficulty in the life of a devotee because a devotee sees God's grace in everything. Prabhupada concludes the purport and it concludes this section. After this section, then Parikshit Maharaj starts to speak. The cow and bull never placed any complaint before the king for being tortured by the personality of Kali, although everyone lodges such complaints before state authorities. The extraordinary behavior of the bull made the king conclude that the bull was certainly the personality of religion, for no one else could understand the finer intricacies of the codes of religion. So to think like this, that this difficulty is the sanction of Krishna, and therefore it is the mercy of Krishna to make me stronger. That is one of the codes of religion. To be religious, to be spiritual, to be Krishna conscious means to think like this. That, yeah, this difficulty has been sent by Krishna to make me stronger, to purify me, to make me take his shelter more. That is one of the codes of religion. Okay? Anyone wants to ask anything? Yes, Prabhuji.
We accept every situation that we get into as will of God, but then onwards, how should we react? How should we respond to that situation? We mitigate to make it better using our skills, or we should continue to experience
Yeah.
the will of God.
Yeah, so we have to do both. His question, Prabhuji's question is that when difficulties come, we accept it. Okay, this is the will of the Lord, but then what do we do? Do we try and mitigate it, or do we wait for Krishna's hand to change things? We have to do both. So if there's a difficulty, whatever is in our control to do, whatever is in our ability to do to try and change the situation, we should. But if after that also the situation doesn't change, we have to wait for Krishna's next plan. Krishna's next plan. What is it? Okay, he wants me to accept it. But in either of these cases, we have to take firm shelter of Krishna conscious principles. That's the most important. So if I'm going through a fight with somebody, and if that makes me have to defend myself, I have to do that. But at the same time, during that whole process, I have to understand also Krishna is showing me the naked truth of the material world. And there is no happiness in this material world. I cannot trust anyone in this material world. And therefore, I should take more and more shelter of the holy name. I should take more and more shelter of Krishna Katha. So when these things come, it increases our faith that real happiness is only in Krishna consciousness. It's only in devotee relationships. It's only in the processes of devotional service. And at the same time, I can try and whatever is in my hand to change it. If it gets changed, fine. If it doesn't, fine. In either cases, even if it gets changed, a devotee thinks, okay, this is also the mercy of the Lord. That time we'll not think, yeah, I use my brain to defend myself and therefore it worked. So even when we attempt to do something, we attempt to do it thinking that if Krishna wants, then this attempt will be successful or not, and taking full shelter of Krishna conscious principles during that time. When we were in Vrindavan many years back, we are going to Vrindavan again this Kartik. What are our dates? 11th to 19th. So we are not going in Diwali week. We are going 1 week before Diwali this time. And the only reason we are doing that is because we didn't get any nice rooms during Diwali. Otherwise, we like to spoil everyone's Diwali, or rather, we like to celebrate Diwali together in Vrindavan. But we are going 1 week before Diwali, 11th to 19th November. It is, all those days are in the month of Kartik only. This time, because there's Purushottam Mass, so Kartik is late. It's in November. So please do come. So many years back, when we went to one Vrindavan Yatra, we had a class by Sarvabhaum Prabhu. Sarvabhaum Prabhu became a devotee in Pakistan. He's a Sindhi devotee, but from Pakistan. So, and then after 15, 20 years living in Pakistan as a devotee, he moved to Vrindavan. Now he stays in Vrindavan. Now you would think Vrindavan is the land of Krishna. Kadam Karan Maharaj says that in Vrindavan, even between bites, while breakfast prasad, between bites, people discuss about Krishna. How can you not be Krishna conscious in Vrindavan? But he said that actually I was more Krishna conscious in Pakistan, because in Pakistan to practice Krishna consciousness was against the law. Officially it was lawful, but unofficially they were prosecuting all these people. So he said, "Main bahar jata tha. I didn't know whether I will come back safely or not. And therefore at every step my dependence on Krishna was very, very high. In Vrindavan, I know mera koi kuch nahi karne wala. So my dependence has reduced. So if there are difficulties, that's why Kunti Maharani prays. Give me more difficulty. We don't have to pray like that. But when they come, we should think, oh, I am fortunate. Others will think, ye pagal ho gaya hai. We should think, oh, I am fortunate. Yasyam anugrihnami harishye tad dhanam shanay. Krishna has bestowed special favor on me, and therefore this difficult situation has come in my life. And he wants me to take more shelter of him, because in darkness, sunshine appears very beautiful. In darkness, a lamp appears very beautiful. In summer, a cold beverage appears very soothing. When you are hungry, food appears very palatable. When in distress, Krishna appears all attractive. His name is all attractive. Krishna means all attractive. He becomes all attractive. We all may have experienced this to a degree in our lives, and we have to continue taking strong shelter of these Krishna conscious principles. At the same time, remembering all those points that were discussed earlier, keeping away from bad association, tolerating things, not, just accepting good, not expecting anything good in the material world. Along with those things, take to Krishna consciousness, and then our lives will be very, very blissful, because we will be seeing Krishna's hand in our lives regularly. End with this quote from Prabhupada. Everyone is under the full control of the Lord. He is quite correct in his action when he desires something to be done by someone, irrespective of the consideration of the particular case. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।